What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Mafia Midway, your midweek therapy session, talking all things Buffalo. And boy, do we need a therapy session this week. The Bills may be on a bye. We are not. Working hard for you guys out there. So if you're new to the channel, you've never seen us before, drop a nickel on that subscribe button for us, especially if we entertain you for at least a few minutes, and smash that like button. It goes a long way with helping the channel. This is our inaugural Mafia Midway show. So thank you all for joining us either live or in the rewatch. Each week we'll have some topics on the table, but we'll pivot. We will pivot to the chat because we want you to be engaged. It's a lot more fun when we are engaged with you. We're also going to have some call-in options in the near future, guys. Yes, we're going to have people be able to call into this show and give us their thoughts. So I'm excited about that. Joining me tonight is the Golden Boy out in the beautiful state of Florida, Mr. Brett McDurfee. Look at that Golden Boy. Look at that hair. Beautiful. Also joining me tonight from upstate New York, and I sound like a WWE announcer. Joining me from upstate New York is the coolest man alive, Sean Cooler. There we go. Let's go. I am Mike, born and raised in Buffalo, New York, but life took me out to the West Coast. You know what they say? You can take the man away from the city, but you can't take the city away from the man. We have another person that you'll see from time to time on this show. He just can't join us tonight because he's supporting the Buffalo Sabres. And guess what? Sabres going to get their first win tonight. They started out of the gate 0-3. They are whooping. I think it's, I forget who it was. Whoever they're playing tonight. I think it's Ottawa maybe. They're whooping them. Or the Devils.
No, they're already winning. Okay.
Oh, yeah. So they're going to get their first win. All of a sudden now you're going to hear Jake saying he's got to go to every game because he's the good luck charm. But he'll join us. Maybe even joins us tonight if we go a little bit late tonight. Let's see here. It's been a rough 2 weeks for Buffalo sports fans, obviously, with the Sabres coming out of the gate 0-3, and then you got the Buffalo Bills losing back-to-back games. So we got some cool topics on the table, and we'll be looking forward to hearing what you guys say in the chat. Gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready for the first Mafia Midway show? I need to see some excitement. Let's go. Let's go. All right. We got Weston out there. Weston, hike the ball. He says, good to see you. Smash that like button. Yeah, Weston's a good friend of the shows. Even though he's a Chiefs fan, we love him. I got to say, I was thinking about this today. Sometimes we get comments from other fan bases on our shows. The Chiefs fans are the nicest. I got to say, man, whenever they make a comment, it is very polite. Like, hey, we expect to see you. You know, I had a gentleman just the other day after our post-game show. He said, hey, I'm a Chiefs fan. You guys should have more followers. That's nice to say. But he said, you know, fully expect to see you guys in the playoffs. So, and that's just one of many that we've had over the years. So, Chiefs fans, way to go. Love that you respect the other fan bases, unlike some other fan bases. I don't want to talk about them though. So anyhow, Weston, thanks for joining us tonight. So gentlemen, I want to start with the first topic, and that is kind of, if you've had a chance, I mean, we're less than 48 hours after the big loss, right? I haven't had a chance to rewatch it. I wanted to, but I know Sean, you have, and then Brad, I'll ask you if you have. But Sean, you do this on a weekly basis because you get into the film, you look at the offensive line, you look at the defensive line. But this week, I'm sure you were looking at more. We were looking for answers, like what went wrong that game. So I'm going to throw it to you to kind of see. I think you've went into the first half. I don't know if you've gotten further, but you really go deep into these, to the film, the all 22. Talk to me about what you've seen in that film, and maybe it can explain what the heck we saw in that game on Monday night.
Well, I'm on the last Falcons drive and our last drive, and then I'm done. I'm taking a little bit longer time to do it since there's a bye week, so I wasn't rushing to get it done. But I don't know where you want me to start on the defense first. You know, like you said, I usually I only do the trenches. So, but while I'm going through it, you kind of see the other views of like the secondary and the linebackers. and then you just kind of like get distracted by the badness sometimes. And in that first half, obviously it was historically awful. It was almost 400 total yards given up, huge plays. And I'm watching how we're defending Drake London, knowing that their wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 are out of the game, not playing. And then there was one play in particular. They had Shaq Thompson lined up as basically like a slot corner, jammed London at the line and just went off. And then London just ran 20 yards and sat in the zone. Benford's running 25, 30 yards backwards, and then he's wide open. We were basically doing that the entire first half. There was no contested ball thrown to Drake London the entire first half. And I'm just sitting there like, you knew he was going to be the only one playing. You knew he's the only guy that's going to tear you apart in the passing game besides Bijan, and they still allowed it to happen. It didn't. They put anyone. It didn't even matter. They didn't have Benford on him a lot, but every player on the defense basically was on him at least once, and it didn't matter because they were playing that horrible soft zone. And in the second half, they played man coverage for a majority, if not all of the half. And even guys like Trey White, who have been horrible, I'm watching the reps happen. He's lined up whoever it is, toe to toe. Like, he's not getting burnt. He's not behind. Every corner, even Benford was neck and neck with the guys. And that starts to make you think, that can't be like, it's a coincidence that they're doing good now. We've been a zone defense for so long. We see it every year in the playoffs against the Bengals that one year. It's 3rd and 3. You got the cornerbacks playing 12 yards off the ball on a 3rd and 3. And then Burrow's just like, hike, boom, first down. And that's what they did the entire game. And now you see them play man coverage in the second half. They can't throw the ball. They can barely run the ball. We're getting sacks. We're getting tackles for loss. We're breaking up passes, almost getting interceptions. And it's like, the first half was so bad. Obviously, you think you would have to make a decision to change, and they did. But why not just do man all the time? And if you get beat, you get beat. They're so concerned about getting beat with a big play, but then they give up 15 medium-sized plays, and it doesn't matter. I'd rather give up one big play and get burned for 50 yards and waste 10 seconds off the clock than waste 7 minutes and still give up a touchdown. So defensively, it was a lot of that. I thought the D-line did really good. The linebackers were, besides Shaq Thompson, were but in the second half, everybody seemed really locked in. You could tell they took the ass whooping personally. And then the offensive side of the ball, it's so frustrating because, and I'm sorry I'm ranting, but you go and watch Allen the first few weeks, and we all talked about it. He's so cerebral. He was calling out plays basically before they happened. He knew what defenses were going to do, and they always had an answer for it. And the last 2 weeks and maybe a quarter of the Saints game, it's like he forgot how to play football. It's like he hit his head sometime and forgot what he's doing out there. Because you're watching some of these plays that look horrible. Like one of the sacks, and I'm going to do it on my show on the whiteboard. There was that 2 guys coming in between Dawkins and Edwards on 3rd down. So they're going to bring the blitz. Brady called it. This was like the best play call Brady had the entire day. And Dawkins was engaged with somebody. Edwards was engaged with somebody. And this was also a great play call by the defensive coordinator. And he sent a delayed blitz from both 2 linebackers in between them, knowing that they're going to be engaged with defensive linemen. And Allen's looking right at the guy blitzing with two wide receivers wide open. And they have the cushion. And he, instead of throwing it immediately like he's supposed to, like the play was designed for, he ran backwards 10 yards and got sacked. And then everyone's like, the line did bad. No, that you didn't even need to pick up a blitz for that one because the ball should have been out as soon as it was snapped. That was the design of the play. So plays like that are happening the entire game. So when the receivers do get open, he's not seeing it because he's too busy worrying about other things. And the play calls aren't doing justice. There's a lot of route concepts where everybody's in the same area or 3 people are running the same route. And it looks horrible on the tape, and it's really frustrating because it's like they're trying to be way too cute and getting away from what they were doing good in the first 4 weeks, granted against bad teams, but it's working. And then now you're in a big pickle because you look like crap the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. We definitely need to see a better blend of the man and zone, like you said. Switch it up. I mean, my goodness, switch it up. Keep the offense on their heels. We went, don't go a whole half. If it's not working, switch it up in the middle of the first half, right? I mean, we were lucky not to be down 28-7. Let's be real. That touchdown was a little lucky at the very end. We all thought that he got in, but thankfully, was that Bishop who knocked him out?
No, Taylor Rapp did.
Taylor Rapp got to him. Okay. Well, good. I mean, thinking is for Taylor Rapp, making that hustle play and at least getting him to go out of bounds. But yeah, we need to see a better blend of that defensive scheme for sure. I'll come back to you on the offense here in a little bit, Sean, again. But Brett, did you have a chance to rewatch the game at all?
No, I didn't want to.
Okay.
I mean, the first time watching it, I pretty much felt like any Bills fan that I had to get completely hammered at the end of the game and, not remember it at all, not remember, hope that it was a dream. So no, I didn't watch it again. I mean, do I think I should? Probably yes. I mean, especially being somebody that wants to be a podcaster and really wants to work through the ins and outs of what the Buffalo Bills are doing. Yeah, I probably should watch it again, but it was a tough game to watch. I mean, the last 2 games were tough, especially as a fan, having my fandom side of the Buffalo Bills in there and my podcast side in there too. It is a game where mistakes were made, and afterwards I watched the press conference from Sean McDermott, and what he said in that press conference really made me question the entire team as a whole. I mean, from the past 2 weeks, he's talked about Keon Coleman being late for practice, being late for meetings, stuff like that. That shows you that the team isn't holding players accountable. That's a concern for me, number one. Then he's talking about the miscommunications out there on the field in the first half and the second half. That shows me that the team isn't in the right situations between the coaching staff and the players. So that shows me that the coaching staff isn't doing a good enough job. Then you look at the execution, you look at the penalties, stuff like that. There's a lot of concerns for me as a fan and as somebody that's watching the team going, okay, we had 4 straight games where we did good things. Now, we didn't win these games by blowouts whatsoever. We had to come back in the Ravens game. We beat the Jets, who are a terrible team right now. We barely beat the Miami Dolphins. And then, New Orleans was a game where, they were in it for pretty much the whole entire game, and we barely beat them. I didn't like what I saw from the Buffalo Bills 2 weeks in a row. This is terrible football, and we have to be better as a team. We have to be better, number one, in communication. We have to be better, just playing a whole entire game. This whole entire season, I mean, I think you guys would agree, we haven't seen a game from all 3 aspects of the team where we've been good. The offense has had moments where we're really good, and we've had moments where we're absolute dog crap. I mean, it's hard to watch, but we need to be better as a team. I mean, we need to hold players accountable. We need to be back to the same old Sean McDermott that we saw, years ago, where this team is playing for themselves, but also playing for each other. And I feel like there's moments where we're not playing for each other and we're being selfish, and it's just not good football. But this is a moment in time where we have the bye week. It's a good time to really reflect on what the Bills are doing, because there's some really good things that they are doing. I mean, we've seen great things from Deion Walker. We've seen good things from, a lot of different players that are stepping up. But there's also moments where you just question the coaching staff as a whole with Joe Brady. Moments where I'm going to say, why is James Cook not out in the field as well? With 12 minutes left in the game, he was taken out of the game the rest of the game. I don't understand that. There's moments where I question the execution of why are we running zone, like you said, John, and not man in those situations. And sometimes I feel like the communication out there on the field between whether it's, the safeties interacting with the linebackers, making sure that we're in the right reads, it just wasn't good on defense. But, there's some issues, but I think that they are correctable issues that we can be better at going forward. And I think that this is a learning curve, and we'll get through it. And I think that, like Sean McDermott said, he's confident in the players, he's confident in the coaching staff, but we have to be better and hold players accountable more.
Yeah, I think I heard him say that somebody asked him about the James Cook situation, not getting much play in the fourth quarter, and I think he said he had a conversation with Brady after that. So hopefully that changes. Your best offensive player besides Josh Allen needs to be on the field. Well, what are you thinking? That makes absolutely no sense. And you've been right. Like discipline issues, 11 penalties, actually probably 13 or 14 because a few of them were declined a few weeks back against the Patriots. We had 8 more penalties in the game against the Falcons. So you got to clean that up. I'm going to go back to you, Sean, here, but I'm going to ask a question. So first of all, let me set the stage. A couple of years ago in 2023, Bills came out of the gate pretty hot. I think we were 3-1, but then things started to go south. And we were at one point in the season 6-6. Late November, I think that was. We were 6-6 with a very slim chance to make the playoffs. So something like crazy 2% or 3%. They fire Ken Dorsey and they elevate Brady to the OC, offensive coordinator. And they also traded for Amari Cooper. Now, Amari Cooper, those two things just jump-started the team. They went on a roll and were able to win the division, make the playoffs. And and what you're hearing from a lot of the podcasters, I think people have been saying this for years now, for the last few years. We need a number one guy, a true number one. There's potentially a few out there, but do you see that being an option? And realistically, do you see that being an option? And if there is someone brought in, do you have any? I have a few names, but I'll let you start by saying, do you have any targets in sight that could potentially come over and help Josh Allen? And is it going to help Josh Allen, or are there bigger things that needs to be fixed on that offensive side of the ball?
Yeah, it's definitely a need to bring somebody in. It's hard as a fan to really pick people out, knowing how we're a little bit strapped with money, not draft capital, but we're strapped with money a little bit. And you're thinking about, well, Brandon Beane never really makes a huge splash move that actually moves the needle. I've been saying it since we've been doing podcasts together. The teams that make significant trades by the deadline are always going to be in the running or have a good chance. One year we got, what's his name from the Colts, that running back that took 2 back to the house and then did nothing else. Nyheim Hines. That was our big move. We got Nyheim Hines. Didn't work out. Didn't do anything. It was horrible. Then we got we did get Cooper last year, and that helped in a way. But we need more than a Cooper. Like Mo Brown mentioned, AJ Brown is a potential. Olave is potential. Now Jalen Waddle is potential too. And I know everyone's like, "Oh, it's a division trade." I'd throw a first-round pick for him, and they're going to accept that because they want to grow their team back.
Yeah.
And Waddle was a first-round pick, top 10 pick, but I don't think he's really – like if it wasn't the Dolphins and the Bills making a trade, he probably wouldn't be worth a first-round pick. But in this situation, I'm willing to overpay for anybody because, number one, what does Brandon Beane really know with draft picks? Rounds 1, 2, and 3. Nothing. Even like he hits in the 4th and the 5th sometimes, but so many of his 5th and 6th round picks, they don't even make the team or they're cut. Like Olafosio last year, cut. Cedric Van Pran, 5th round pick, doesn't play. Chase Lunt, 5th round pick, doesn't play. It's just he hits some of them, but it's like I'd rather just get people, trade our capital away, and just try to win and worry about the money afterwards. Worry about paying people afterwards, because right now we need players. And Brandon Beane went on WGR this offseason and was sorry, I hit my desk again. Was being rude and disrespectful to the host there, pumping his chest about the offense hit 30 points a game last year. And, you guys are so, he was like cussing them and talking about, oh, you guys are so worried about wide receiver. All you guys do is bitch. And then it's like the whole fan base, the whole world sees that wide receiver's been an issue. Now, can they make plays? Yes. But the other issue is Brady isn't setting these guys up for success either. He's basically just saying, oh, go beat your guy. But they can't. So I know everyone thinks because he coached at LSU when they had Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, and Justin Jefferson on the same team that he was some great coach. No, I could have coached that offense. Anyone could have. All you had to do is say, here you go, just throw the ball to one of them downfield, and they're going to beat their man every time. And then he was bad in Carolina. He's okay with us, but he gets so warped in his thinking of every guy has to do something. And that's when I was listening to one of his interviews, and someone asked him, like, why would you not have Cook in? And as Cook being a huge threat, why would you not have him in on key third downs and near the end of the game and the fourth down? And he was like, well, every guy has a job to do, and I want to use every guy. And it's like, no, don't. You just pay Cook. Yeah, Ty Johnson's okay, but he doesn't need to be used in these situations. Ray Davis, yeah, he made a good play, but he doesn't need to be used in these situations. So yeah, it'd be nice to have a guy like Waddle or AJ Brown. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Do we need it? Yeah. It just helps. It's a stress relief for other players like Shakir and Coleman. And I just want to see Brady help these guys get open, do some more screen plays, do some rub routes, do some crossers, do some deep crossers, do some slant routes, do some posts, some out route, just something to help these guys get open. Or when there's a blitz coming, dial up a lot of short plays, because there's a few of them on these third down plays, third and short, where all these receivers are going 15 yards downfield. You don't need 15 yards, you need 5. So why are the routes all designed to go past 5 yards? They could go 2 yards, and then you get the 3 yards with the receiver. So it's just, I don't know, and I hate just saying it because I do it every year, but since 2017, we've lost 2 games in a row every year at least once. Do they? Oh, it's October now. Let us try to figure something else out. Let us try to do new things, and it doesn't work, and then they go back to the old stuff and they start winning again. I can't explain why it always happens, but it's unacceptable, and it's long overdue. We need change. So I hope Brandon Beane takes it seriously and understands we don't have enough, and then he makes a move. But I don't know if he will.
Yeah, I agree. I put some other targets out there that have been talked about on social media for receivers. You got Jacoby Myers, Chris Olave, Shaheed, both those guys from New Orleans. And that's a team that's definitely looking to rebuild. So you would think they'd be willing to. And I think Rashid is going to be, what do you want to call it? It's not going to be on the team this year. And they're not going to be able to pay him. He's going to be commanding more money in the offseason. John, I want to tell you something about this one. So every dog has his day. And let me just say this. Prior to that draft, that day, me and my good friend, Tony, he's been on our channel before. He's played football. We were already on Josh Allen. We had him on our radar. We actually wanted him. Like if Baker was the talk and if somehow he could have got Baker. But other than that, where we were sitting, kind of already knew Josh Allen. That's the guy I wanted. I wasn't one of those Bills fans that they always show. Remember, you guys see that all the time where they're all there, like with the, I don't know, what pick was it? With the 8th pick or something overall.
Yeah.
So, what was it?
7.
With the 7th pick overall, the Buffalo Bills take Josh, and you see these guys just get all frustrated. No, there was me and others, plenty of others, happy to get Josh Allen, the big dude who could throw the ball a mile. And his only, criticism was, he wasn't accurate. Okay, neither was Jim Kelly. Like what Jim Kelly did for us.
And he didn't come from big, college.
And he didn't come. Correct. But of all the quarterbacks over there, he had the strongest arm. Dude could run. So I'm just saying, John. Yes, he hit him, but it wasn't such a such a fantastic pick. Other people like myself were on to Josh Allen as well. But yes, without him, we wouldn't have had him. But without being not taking him, at least he took him. And so thank you for that. I agree with you, Sean. If you got James Cook, who's a very good receiver out of the backfield, and you're not throwing him the ball 4 to 6 times a game, you got a problem. Look what they do with A-Chain in Miami. A-Chain typically just goes out. He's an outlet guy, but they use him a lot too. Like he'll go to the side, and if Tua has to, he'll throw it to him. And A-Chain's very successful. There's a lot of other teams that consistently feed their running backs out of the backfield. Now, we did feed our running backs 3 times in that game. And Ray Davis actually scored a touchdown on one of those. But if you're not getting your best player the ball, and we saw what he was doing, was averaging over 5 yards a carry in that game when they were running the ball.
That's his career average too. When was the last time? The last time I think I saw Cook catch a pass. No, he caught a couple after that, but that big one in Baltimore where he had like a 50-yard catch. I think it was Baltimore. Like he could do that stuff. So why is he not? And I know the fans don't control what Brady does, but isn't it a coincidence that all you heard from guys like from the Shout podcast, like their viewers that call in and stuff or whatever, or they go to their live shows, they all were complaining about Cook's getting used too much. Cook's getting used too much. And then all the beat reporters asked Brady, "Aren't you worried about Cook getting used too much?" And then all of a sudden he doesn't get used enough. Yeah. And then now everybody's quiet. But he got paid for a reason. He wants to play. He's young. He doesn't have a lot of tread in his tires. Let him play. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt. You can't worry about injury and then lose games because of it. He's your best weapon besides your offensive line and Josh Allen. I don't care I don't care if he's played 50 snaps. Let him play every time because Ty's okay, Davis is okay. I want Cook out there. I want I want to win football games. I want my best players out there. I don't care if it's week 5. I don't care if it's week 6 because you have goals on your mind. You want your best players out there performing all the time. And Cook wants to earn his contract because he heard all offseason from 90% of our fan base, he's not worth $10 million. He's probably worth, and I said he's going to be worth 20. I said Gibbs and Bijan are going to get 20. Cook should get at least 15. He's worth that. And he got the 14 or 15, and he's already superseded that contract, and he's not getting the ball enough now. Oh, we got to save him for the playoffs. Okay, so let's save Josh for the playoffs too. Let's put Mitch in. Is that what we want to do?
We'll never make the playoffs.
You want to win football games. Remember, everyone, it's about winning. It's not about saving your guys for the playoffs because you could get hurt walking down the stairs. I was in my bowling league last night, and I almost pulled my hamstring. I'm 30 years old, and obviously I didn't. I pulled through, and I just stretched later. But point being, you can get hurt doing something like bowling.
Right.
Cook can get hurt waking up in the morning and falling out of his bed and breaking his ankle, God forbid. Right. But stop being worried about people getting injured. Stop worrying about load management because he can handle it. If he can't handle it, he'll tap his head and say, "Ray, come in."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's what they're told to do. If you can't play, have someone come in for you.
Right.
And Cook's done that before. He had two or 3 big runs in a row. All right, come get me. One play gone. All right, I'm back in there.
You could be Daquan Jones, who in pregame warmups pops a calf, is what I'm hearing now, and could be out for an extended period of time. I don't know what pops a calf means. I mean, I've ever listened to the thigh doctor, but it sounds like he's going to miss multiple weeks, even after the bye, which is sad to say. I want to go back in the chat here because we did say this show's all about the chat and what they're bringing up. I want to pivot to him. So, Josh Allen was 15 to 26. Why not blame him? First of all, there's a rule in Buffalo Mafia. You can never say anything bad about Josh Allen. I'm just kidding.
No, I've been blaming him since the game started.
So I'm just kidding. He was part of the problem in that game. Absolutely. But there was just many things, right? I didn't watch the film, the rewatch, but you could just tell he was out of sync. You got to give credit. I got to give a lot of credit to the Falcons. They came well prepared. Like Josh Allen I don't think there was one chance for him to roll to the right. That's where he's fantastic. When he escapes the pocket, goes to the right. They kept him to the left. and he actually struggled going to the left, trying to pitch the ball and where he could potentially throw it. I'm not in that situation. I get it. He knows people are coming after him. Maybe thought the pitch he could get it there. He couldn't. But he was a little bit to blame. For sure, John. You got to put a little blame on him. He's the guy making the most money on the team. He's the captain of the team. And he's got to take some blame when the team loses. And I'm sure he'll take the blame himself. I'm sure he says, I mean, I didn't watch his presser, but he says those things. I got to play better. I got to do better. And some of that is very true. Some of it's not.
I think John came in a little bit late too, but I did mention in the beginning of my first rant was, he's missing a lot of things on the field. Like when the receivers do get open, he's not hitting them. He's running into sacks that he shouldn't be. Like there was one where he knew a blitz was coming. He had two people open. He looked right at Dawson, or it might have been Hawes. He chipped, rolled out, and Allen looked to throw at him, and then he just holds the ball like this and goes like that and takes a sack. What the heck is that? Like, I know people are going to look at, he got sacked 12 times already. He got sacked 14 times last year. 3 or 4 of those are him just running forward and getting tackled at the line of scrimmage. That's not really a sack, in my opinion. That's just him running into the coverage. And then a lot of these sacks that he's taking is because he's not doing the right thing as a quarterback. And like you see, like when I'm doing what our linemen do when they say someone's blitzing or I got this guy, they tap their head and they point at the guy. And you see that all the time. And it's for the guys next to each other to know, okay, so Cybo's got this linebacker if he comes. If he doesn't, he's going to help me out. If he comes, he's got the blitz. Yeah, so they know. And Josh is seeing the field better than they are because he's scanning the entire field. If a lineman gets up and moves his head, it's a false start. So they can only look like a very small space. So he sees 7 people coming. They sent so many delayed blitz to make 7 people blitz, and we only have 5 blockers, or sometimes 6. You had to get the ball out. That there's a blitz coming. It's not because the protection can't hold. It's because it's not meant to hold when there's more people coming than there is blocking.
Right.
So that's on Josh Allen solely, and he was always good at the blitz because Miami always ran that cover 0 crap, and he always smoked it. So something's up with him not seeing the field. He's hunting the big plays. He's worried about the separation not being too much. Like, it's NFL. He knows that. He's made tight window throws that you wouldn't believe, and he's scared sometimes to throw it because maybe he doesn't trust the connection with these guys. Because
do you think it's that, or
they're open sometimes?
Do you think it's that he doesn't trust them, or do you think it's that the coaching staff might be telling him, hey, listen, we need to be better at not throwing those interceptions. We can't turn the ball over in those situations. Maybe it's psychologically bothering him rather than something that he sees out there on the field.
Yeah, it could be both. And that pick he threw before the half, it was another one of those stupid deep. Everyone was running a deep route. The 3 people on the right side, they all ran ins the same distance, and it's like, first of all, what are you doing? The hot route was by the sideline covered, and then there's Keon Coleman, and then Allen's just sitting there holding the ball. It was like 5 seconds, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna throw it in double coverage and get picked off again." And it's like, in that situation, there's 12 seconds left. Just throw the ball away.
Yeah.
Like, don't take an unnecessary sack. Don't throw a pick. Just throw the ball away, because then you got 10 seconds. Maybe you can make another play happen, kick a field goal, whatever. Or you just take a knee, right? But he wasn't doing that in the beginning of the year. He wasn't doing that last year. And I don't understand what happens from your absolute general, your technician dissecting defenses, and all of a sudden, I see people showing blitz. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm just going to take sacks and then get us bad field position. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you go back to last year, and I'm sorry to cut you off, Mike. I just wanted to say, you go back to last year and you look at what Buffalo did in those moments where, the defenses really were trying to find the strengths of what Josh Allen has. And Josh was doing a really good job of taking what the defense gives him. And I feel like this year he's kind of pressing the ball a little bit more, trying to, lock in those stats of, hero ball types of scenarios. And he needs to go back to the fundamentals of what worked last year in his MVP season and really take what the defense gives him, find the middle of the field, find his security blankets out there on the field, whether it's a running back or a wide receiver like Khalil Shakir that's running a little short route that he can get open on. Shakir's really good at getting open. I mean, Mike, he's pinball for you. That's
pinball,
the nickname,
baby.
You give him pinball as the nickname. You got to find the strengths of what Buffalo has. And like I said, they haven't found that yet. Go back to the fundamentals of what worked last year, what will work this year for a team, and make it work. That's what matters right now.
Yeah. I agree. And I think it's a little bit of the chemistry, right? He's got Elijah Moore first year with them. He's got Palmer first year with them. So some of it is that. And of course, he's missing his, the tight end that he loves to go to, Kincaid last game. So it's a little bit of that, but it's a lot of what Sean was talking about. And John, I want to keep the conversation going with you because you have a lot of good points and you're one of our favorite listeners here because you really support the channel. Sounds like you're judging Max Hairston and he hasn't even played. Yeah, how could we judge him? We can't be judging him. Yeah. The only thing I'd be mad about, John, here, and I'll let the other guys speak to this. We got unlucky there, right? He gets hurt in preseason. Actually, not in preseason, in camp. Didn't even play any preseason. Gets hurt. I don't know. I think I must have heard this wrong. I thought it would be like 3 to 4 weeks before he'd be back out there. I thought the initial thing was there, right? And now we're in, we're after the bye, and I have heard maybe they're going to open up that window. I surely hope so. But if we don't see this young man on the field this year, I feel like I've been scammed. Tell me the truth, at least. Is he out for the year? If so, put him on IR. But I think he'll be back, and there's no way we can judge him, John, until he's on the field. And I have big hopes for that young man, just like it did for Kyer if that one didn't work out. But this dude looks a little different, a little more special. So let's see what he can do when he comes back. And I hope it's not, we got the bye week. After the bye, they'll probably open up the window sometime if he's ready to go, sometime maybe the first week after the bye. And what do you have, like 3 weeks is the window for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
This is the last week they have, I think, because it was week 4, they could have the 21-day window open, or week 5 it starts. So they had the whole week 5 didn't get activated. They had the whole week 6 didn't get activated. So this is the last week. If they don't get activated by the end of the week, that's 21 days, and then they're out for the year.
I don't think so, Sean. I think that what happens is you designate a player as returning to the team. So at any point in time, they can make it so that player can come back. So it could be, week 9, week 10, from what I understand. And that practice window is going to be, he's going to be activated. I'm going to tell you that right now.
That might be right. I just think I've heard before, or I've seen it before, where if you don't get returned back during that window, you have to go to IR for the rest of the year.
Right. And that's if they activate him. So they haven't activated that window yet. So that's why
that's what I'm saying.
That's why that 21 days then becomes. So if they activate him in week 8, then he would have 3 weeks. So it would be week 11. That's the decision. He goes on IR for the rest of the season. But because they haven't activated him yet, they have until the end of the season to be able to do that. Gotcha. He's a player that's IR designated as a return player. Gotcha. So, like I said, it could be any time. But I've watched the videos. I put it on my channel and everything. He looks really good. He looks like he's ready to return. He's making cuts. He's moving down the field and everything very quick. It won't be long before he's back. Whether it's week 8, I really do think that it's going to happen. I think that the Bills in this situation, Sean and Mike, I think that you would agree with me on this. They're being precautious because there was some damage to that knee. There was an LCL sprain. It's a very tough injury, but there could be more damage where it could get into the ACL type style where you could miss the whole entire season. And I think they really wanted that knee to heal. They wanted to see the ligaments get back to normal before they even rush this guy out there, because if you rush a player out there and he misses the whole entire season, he comes back, plays one snap, and boom, the knee's done. Then you look like idiots. You look like, you don't know what you're doing. we had Dorian Strong. We had, Tre'Davious White out there. We didn't need to rush him. Dorian Strong goes down with an injury, going to miss some time and everything. It's a tough blow, but we didn't expect that. So now we really were thinking, okay, after the bye, this is when Maxwell Hairston's going to come out. We have another guy that's a security blanket. We have Tre'Davious White. That's the time that we can do it. Now you're kind of thinking, oh, crap, now we don't have that security blanket. But we do. We still have Dane Jackson on the roster that's on the practice squad. We can use him. So let's not rush him back onto the field until he's ready to go and he can make an impact on this team. That's what matters the most.
Yeah, I agree, Brett. And that's what they're going to do. The Bills, right? They're going to slowly work him back, see what he can take, how that knee looks. They'll get him out there when he's ready. He's not going to take on. He'll be on a snap count early on, right? Yeah. And then as the season go on, he'll progress and get more snaps on the field. So that's how it's going to play out. I just hope it is sooner than later, so he gets some experience and gets really dialed in before the playoffs. And yes, I do expect this to hit the playoffs. I know this is a therapy session. This is your midweek therapy session. If we sound negative, we're just getting things off our chest. This is what you do in a therapy session, right? You talk about some of the things that you are struggling with about your team. And Chad, good stuff there. He says, yeah, you got to have the best 11 on the field for a chance to win. Going back to the Cook's comment, James Cook, we're not being on the field the last 12 minutes of the game and not utilizing him to his full extent. Yes, even Ty Johnson can catch. All three of our running backs are great receivers out of the backfield. Ty Johnson had some big games last year. He was catching balls down the field. He caught a couple long ones. So where is that? I don't know. Yeah, John, I mentioned Daquan Jones. Pop the calf. That's the official term here. Pop the calf. I don't know what that means. Did it pop out of his the back of his leg? But he'll be out for an extended period of time. Let's see here. I'm just catching up with the chat here, folks. Again, it shows all about you guys, and we'll pivot to you at any point in time. So yeah, Josh Allen has 4 receptions already. I think he had 6 last year, but it was around there, John, 5 or 6. And yeah, he already has 4. What has happened, right? How is that happening? It almost looks like you guys were talking about. It's almost like he's trying to be too safe, and when you do that, you end up throwing interceptions. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then let's see. Got John saying, I agree. He should do what he did in his MVP season. Absolutely. And then one of the things that frustrates me about Mahomes is he tries to force the ball to certain receivers and usually results in an interception.
Yeah.
Right. And so, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Josh, but he's got to get it turned around. The whole team does. And again, we're 4-2, people. We're 4-2. Again, I go back to 2 years ago. We were 6-6 and things weren't looking good. We're still in a good place. We're tied for first. We're slightly behind because the Patriots have the tiebreaker, of course, the head-to-head. Right. But I still have no doubt we're going to overtake the Patriots come the end of the season and get in there. Now, will we be the number 1 seed? I don't know about that anymore, guys, but it's still a possibility. We're not far off that, right? Who is the number 1 seed right now? If the season was to end today, the Colts. Colts look damn good.
I mean, look at what the Colts got.
Yeah,
they got top 3 offensive line, like we do. They have one of the best tight ends in the league, Tyler Warren. They got one of the best running backs in the league. They also got 2 downfield threats, Alec Pierce and A.D. Mitchell, who we didn't want because he was a head case or whatever they wanted to say about him.
Yeah.
And then there's one other guy I'm forgetting. Oh, Michael Pittman.
Yeah.
That team is absolutely stacked with weapons. And then you just insert Daniel Jones there, and they're great. Daniel Jones isn't even half of what Josh Allen is, but he's looking great. Right. And the team is great. They have a great offensive-minded coach. Their defense is still good because guess who they have over there? Lou Anarumo. So if we run into the Colts, I hope we don't because we'll probably lose by 40 because Lou Anarumo knows how to play against Josh Allen for some reason, and Jonathan Taylor will run all over us and catch all over us, and they got some elite weapons over there. But that just goes to my point. You can never have too much, and you can say everybody eats, but I don't know if you guys remember me saying this, but when we had Diggs, the thought process should always be everybody can get involved. You don't have to you don't have to use that as a mantra because you lost good players and you want to make yourself feel better. But the idea of football should be if your best player's open, give them the football. Whoever's open, give them the football. It shouldn't be like I got to get all my guys involved because everybody eats. Like if you go to Dallas and they got George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Ferguson and you're like, hey guys, I know you guys are absolutely outstanding, but we got to get the ball to what's his name, Devontae Turpin. Oh. We got to make sure Devontae Turpin gets 6 receptions today because everybody eats. All right, and then CeeDee Lamb's going to be like, well, I could get 12 targets and 150 yards. George Pickens could get eight catches and 100 yards. Why even worry about it? If we're open, throw us the football. And I think we get so worked up, or the offense gets so worked up, and everybody has to do something that it hurts you more than it helps you. Because, yeah, it's a good concept, but that's everybody's concept. Every coach is thinking everybody eats. They're not saying the words everybody eats, but when you're designing offenses, you're like, okay, CeeDee Lamb's going to be the first read, George Pickens is going to be the second read, and then whoever's next. And if when Dak goes through his progression, if CeeDee Lamb's open, throw him the football. If I want to design Pickens to get some first look plays, then I'm going to do that. But when we just run plays and hope that everybody can eat, it's not going to work. And, there's a famine right now. They're starving, and it's a little bit because they're not that good, and it's a little bit because the play calling, and it's a little bit because Josh hasn't seen the field well the last 2 weeks. And it's not like he's never seen a blitz before. It's not like he didn't know Atlanta blitzes more than anyone else in the league. It's not that he didn't see people blitzing right in front of his view. And what do you learn this from a young level? If there's a blitz coming, what does that tell you? That there's somebody open over there, right? So knowing that, and I showed you guys the pictures, he's staring right at the guy, knowing the blitz is coming. Yep. Knowing there's 2 guys open because he knows the routes, he knows the play call because he's a quarterback. And instead of throwing it, giving them a chance, knowing that they're open, he runs backwards, turns his back to everybody, and gets blasted and then gets hurt. And then you see everybody talking, he can't get protected. He's running for his life. And it's just not true. It's because of him. You gotta know when to get rid of the football. You know the blitz is coming. On that 4th down play, they blitzed AJ Terrell from the backside from as a corner. No one's going to pick that up because everybody's blocking to the left because the plays are all going left. So you can't account, and Spencer Brown's not going to be like, okay, here's the play call. We're all going to block to the left. It's a stretch play to the left. I think AJ Terrell's going to blitz, so I'm going to hang back over here and wait for him. That's not how it works. And then Allen gets nervous. He's got plenty of space to just overhand the ball to Ty Johnson for a first down. And what does he do? Because he did it in week 1 or week 3, he tosses the ball like this again. How many times has he done that this year? 4? He completed 2 of them, but he overthrew one of them and underthrew this one. That's not plays that win you football games. Yeah, it looks cool, but you could easily made that play. And yeah, John, I'm not saying that it doesn't work, but I'm saying that's what everybody thinks. Every coach is everybody eats. But because you got good players, they eat more. And I want that. I was fine with keeping Diggs. I wanted Diggs involved. But the relationship soured when Joe Brady phased him out of the offense. Not Sean McDermott. It wasn't Josh Allen. It was Joe Brady phasing him out. And now we don't have a wide receiver 1. We hardly have a wide receiver 2. And yes, it works. And it will work later on in the year, but it sure would be nice if we had a legit threat that you can look at first as a go-to guy, and then maybe make everybody feel more comfortable. Maybe it opens up for Coleman better because if Coleman's on AJ Terrell, he's never going to get a catch. He was 3 for 11 yesterday. He always runs backwards when he catches the football. He can't get all these contested catches all the time because Allen doesn't throw it high enough. He throws it like Mike said last time. He throws it at his chest. Well, that's not a contested catch. If you throw it up here, where he can get his 6'5" body up there and get it, yeah, maybe that can work. But my problem is, again, I'm ranting again. It's like every receiver is only good at one thing. Shakir's good at yak. Coleman's good at 50-50 balls. Moore's fast. Samuel's fast. And it's just like, what happens if nothing works that play? Nobody's doing anything because they're only good at one thing. I want guys that are good at everything.
Yep. I agree with you. I'm gonna put a sound on here. It's gonna be the rant alert here. Rant alert.
There's so much to say.
We love your rants, buddy. Everyone, we love it because you speak facts there. Absolutely, 100%. There's something to be said about receivers that are troublesome. George Pickens, same thing out of college. People were worried about his attitude and stuff like that. Look at, he's killing it for the Cowboys right now. He's already got 6 touchdowns on the year, over 500 yards. He's going to be well over 1,000 yards. And, they're just a passing attack over there. CeeDee Lamb and all the people that you mentioned there, plus Pickens, are killing it. They're losing, but they're killing it.
Well, CeeDee Lamb's been hurt too, so that's
that hurts. But they're putting up big points, and they have that passing game and I miss that. I miss that ability to just drop back and throw the ball, and there's players there making catches. So John, you mentioned, last year it worked. Everyone eats. It worked. Why was that? Well, I don't think defenses were ready for it. I'm not, we had Matt Collins. I'm not going to say it was Matt Collins. I love Matt Collins. Wish he went and left. But I feel like this year, obviously, defenses will watch that film and they will come up with a blueprint to try and beat it. There's some amazing defensive coordinators in this league.
Yeah.
Spagnuolo from the Chiefs. Lots of great defensive coordinators. Hopefully I said his name right. I always struggle with his name.
Steve Spagnuolo.
Yeah. And they will find a way, and it felt like all this season coming out of the gate that, the Ravens, I don't know how we were able to light them up in the second half and come back. That was just a miracle. Where's that team? Where's our team in that game where we just throwing the ball all over the place? But you could see it, and it just feels like every team's playing us the same way, and we're not changing the way we play, right? And so I feel some of that, John, and guys, agree with me or disagree that, the DCs have caught up to what the Bills are trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. When you look back to last year, what really worked from the team is the ability to make adjustments throughout the game. And I feel like this year, the adjustments aren't coming. Like, it's very slow. When the game is being played, the coordinator for the offense has to make plays where you're getting your players involved. The go-to players, the stars of the game, have to be involved. When you have, on the other side of the ball for the Atlanta Falcons, you have Bijan Robinson. Look at what the Atlanta Falcons offensive coordinator did to be able to get him the ball, not only in the run game, but also in the passing game. You saw that they lined him up out wide as a wide receiver in an X or a Y formation at times. You have to move your guys around the field to get them the ball and find mismatches out there on the field. That's what Joe Brady didn't do a good job of this week. I felt like there's times where you could really have James Cook go out wide as a wide receiver and take somebody out there that could be a good player that can play inside, and maybe you hit the middle of the field, or you hit James Cook on a 6-7 yard route where he breaks it off and he can go 80 yards down the field. Those are situational football plays that I'm going, okay, I could draw that up on the field. Sean, you could go behind you on that, whiteboard. You could find a play that would work in that situation. You have to make the best for your players, and you have to put them in the right situations. That's what I go back to is, do I think that the Bills are putting their players in the best situations? No, not necessarily. You have a guy that's a second-round pick in Keon Coleman that only catches the ball twice for, 16 yards in the game?
3 for 11.
3 for 11?
11.
Yeah.
Yes.
3 for 11, I'm thinking of that as a value meal at Burger King or McDonald's in those situations. I'm not thinking about it from a second-round pick of the Buffalo Bills. You have to make plays for your players, and you have to find ways to get these guys open. That's what the coordinator needs to do. And I want to go with Chad the Chief real quick.
Yeah, let's bring up Chad. Chad, thank you again, man. You're always really bringing a smile to our faces, especially in this therapy session. Really support the channel. The Chiefs fan. We love you and Weston. Thank you for being part of the family. For KC, will Rasheed Rice back? I will be intrigued to see how Brown, Rice, Schuster, Worthy, Thornton, my cousin, and Kelsey will get. Hope all of them remember the main goal is to win, not stats.
There's actually a lot of weapons too when you really when you really think about it.
It's fantastic.
Pretty good.
I think they're so used to running that type of offense now, Chad, where Mahomes is kind of doing a similar thing. I don't want to say everyone eats, but everyone is getting. Mahomes throws to everybody, and I don't think they'll have a problem if they're being successful. And these guys aren't like Worthy still a second-year guy. Rice is third-year guy. Third-year guy. He's a young guy. Didn't even play most of last year, and missed most of this year. Those guys aren't going to be those type of guys that are saying, "Oh man, I'm not getting any throws to me." They're going to be focused on winning, and that's because of the coaching staff and their leader, Pat Mahomes, and even Kelsey to some extent. Kelsey's not. You don't think Kelsey's going back to Mahomes and saying, "Dude, you're not throwing me the ball enough times." Pat will throw to him. He's the most trusted guy that Pat has, but Pat just he'll find these guys, and like you said, there's a lot of weapons there. And Thornton's, when he came out, I mean, he was always a speedster. Now he's on the right team, who's utilizing him in the best way. So you got a lot of great talent here around Mahomes. So it's going to be scary. It's going to be scary for sure. We'll see you. We'll see them in what, 3-4 weeks? 3-4 weeks, somewhere around there?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. We're not far. And you'll be there with Jake. So hopefully we get a little edge because we got you guys are I think you're undefeated. Are you undefeated currently?
Yeah, well, it's not looking good. It's not going to be looking too good now. But if they play really good next week, I feel better going into the game. And you already know, we beat Kansas City in the regular season, but I feel like they don't even try. I feel like they just let's let the Bills waste all their playbook, and then when it comes to the playoffs, we're going to scheme around the game that we played, and then we're going to have something for them. But yeah, like I said, everyone eats is a concept that works because it's just what football is. If you just threw the ball 50 times to the same player, obviously you're not going to win. But it's okay to have CeeDee Lambs and Justin Jeffersons and Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs. It's all right. I think, like, even if you want to say the Diggs thing was stressful, sure, but to purposely not get people like that are wide receiver ones because you want to say everyone eats and make hats about everybody eats, that's just too much. Again, I think we're a great football team. I think we're going to win a lot of football games. We got a chance to win a division, a chance to make a playoff run, but there's a lot of things wrong. Another thing I wanted to get into, John brought it up earlier. It's two things, but I wanted to start with it. Is we've been in the last 3 games penalized over 30 times. And what did I say, Brett, on our show after the first one? I don't anticipate the Bills having another piss poor penalty performance this game than we did. And then what did I say after week 2? Well, I didn't think it was going to happen again, but it certainly won't happen 3 times in a row. And it happened again. So there was like 8, 11, and 12 penalties in the last 3 weeks. And not only does that screw drives over, it makes everything like a third down. First and 15, second and 10 now, second and 12. Or you get a nice play, holding, bring it back 10 yards. Now you're second and 15, or third and 6, or just all these hard situations now. And then that shrinks your playbook. And then we're already predictable as it is. And you're watching this before. I'm going to get back to what I wanted to say before I get to this part. But we have horrible field position. We haven't had often even past the 26-yard line because we're either getting the ball good, holding, penalty, Cam Lewis holding, bring it back 15, Sam Franklin holding, give it back 15, Solomon holding, bring it back, illegal block in the back 15. And then we're starting at the 15, the 16, the 20, the 21. Codrington's been horrible. He was like scared to run yesterday. The only time we got the ball in good field position was that blocked field goal, and we went 3 and out. So horrible field position, horrible special teams coverage, penalties. It's just there's a lot of bad, and it's things that need to be fixed and could be fixed, and it's bringing us down. All the teams we played, great field position. Us, horrible field position. Horrible special teams because we're getting all these penalties. And offensively, holdings, lining up wrong, blocks in the back, false starts, just things that just shoot yourself in the foot, kill the drive. And then now we're 4-2. It's really sad, really sad.
Look how different that game could have been, Sean. You talk about those penalties. First play of the game, they fumble. Robinson fumbles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We get the ball, and lo and behold, Rousseau is offside. Now, you watched the film. You actually sent us a group chat picture. You didn't think he was offside, did you?
No, I didn't during the game either, because I would have known. Like, they had it from the side view, as they always do, and I stare right at the trench, I replay. So if I'm looking at it and I didn't see, I would have been screaming, "You line back up, you're lining offside," and obviously he's not going to hear me, but I would have seen it. And then he hiked the ball, and as soon as Bijan went through the line of scrimmage, the flag goes. So it's like, if you thought he was lined up in the neutral zone, it should have been thrown as soon as the ball was snapped, not after Bijan already ran through the line of scrimmage. And the funny story about, the penalties there, or the unfortunate things. So first play of the game, we force a fumble, call back from a penalty. They scored 7 points that drive. Should have been 0. Then the next drive, they scored a touchdown on. Trey White gets called for pass interference. I showed you guys the clip. He didn't even touch the guy. Guess what happens? They get a touchdown on that drive. So that's 14 points they shouldn't have had. And every one of their big plays, I sent the pictures, I sent the videos in the Discord. Every big play they had was sprung off of a misholding call. On the Tyler Algier touchdown, AJ Epinessa's shoulder pads are like this. Like, I know you could say you can get held every play, but we've had one holding call against our defense this entire season. So every offense, receivers, tight ends, offensive line, only one holding has been called on the opposing team. That it's impossible. It doesn't even make sense. And then another big play, there was another big run. Rousseau's got his arm on the tackle, and the tackle's got his arm wrapped like this, so he can't reach to grab the guy. Not called. And then there was the big 81-yard touchdown run. What do you know? A missed holding call. There was another play. Deion Walker's breaking through the line of scrimmage. He's getting hugged by the guard. Not called. So, again, those didn't decide the game, but it went from a big gain or a touchdown. It could have went back 15 yards, and who knows what happens. Changes the game. So, flags on both sides killing us. As John mentioned, the missed tackles. It blows my mind. It really does, how grown men at this level are so bad at fundamental tackling. Wants to arm tackle, wants to hit them with the shoulder. You learn how to tackle at the lowest level of football. And it's always talked about, we got to get to our gap integrity and fundamental. You shouldn't be talking about this in year 9 as a head coach. You're either horrible at scouting and you're watching these guys in college miss tackles and say, that's okay, let's get them anyway. Or you have really bad talent evaluation and you can't see flaws in people, and you're like, that's a good guy, he wore a suit to an interview, or he's really respectful, or he has good grades and he's the captain for Duke. Like, it blows my mind how this still happens today. And these are a lot of problems that got to be fixed, or we're never going to get to where we want to be.
Yeah, Cole Bishop, I mean, let's face it, Cole Bishop needs to make that tackle on that 81-yard run. He chases them down. You actually finally see the speed. Cole Bishop was drafted. He's got great speed, and you saw it. Caught up to him. Just needed to run. Like, I get it. Bijan's a beast, and but still, you got to make that tackle. You get there. You do all that effort to get there, wrap him up, and get him down and hold on to him for dear life.
Sorry,
But
Mike, to interrupt again one more time about the Cole Bishop tackle.
Yeah.
In that situation, if you don't want to wrap up, he's already on the sideline. Dive at his kneecap because he's either going to jump out of bounds or he's going to get hit in the kneecap and it's going to hurt like a son of a gun. So if you don't want to wrap up there, either hit your helmet right into his knee or jam your shoulder pad into his leg. I don't care. He's obviously not trying to hurt him, but when I played running back for a little bit, when people dove at my legs in high school, not even in the pros, when people dove at my legs, I didn't want to get hit in the leg.
Yeah.
So I tried my best to avoid it. So if he's already on the sideline and you're taking the angle like this, dive at his leg, and he might jump over you, but aim for that lower body and then wrap up and do your best to hit him out of bounds. And it was, like you said, piss poor effort, Mike.
Yeah.
There's a level that you can go to for a tackle on the sidelines, Sean, that you're bringing up. That this is, higher level than most of people that are just watching football would understand. And that level for me is between the rib cage, right around the rib cage, all the way down to the, right around the kneecaps, just below the kneecaps. That level that you have to hit somebody out of bounds, you have to be precise with that hit. And, like you said, the knees are a good area, but for me, I'm aiming for the hips. I'm going right for those hips. The biggest bone in the body for a human is your, ass bone. I'm going to say it. That's pretty much it. It's your gluteus maximus is what it's called. The real term. But you have to aim for that right there to get him out of bounds and make him, get off his feet. So aim for the hips, go for that tackle, and make it happen. If there's people that are on the chat that are, you have kids that are playing football and everything, you're playing pee-wee football, that's where you're aiming for, in my opinion. That's the area to go for, because you don't want to go for the knees because you don't really want to hurt the person. You don't want to, get a penalty for even a low hit on the player, because that's something that they're emphasizing now. Aim for the hips and make that play, especially going in with your shoulder and driving into the player. That's what you have to do.
Yeah. Again, he had the speed to catch him. You got to make that play. You make that play, could be a different outcome for sure. John Roberts saying we need safety depth. And that was brought up by comedian Mo Brown early on. I think he was saying Shiloh Sanders. You guys see that early on?
I think he was being a comedian there.
Is he?
No, I see it. Well, I remember seeing it now.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be my first choice, but definitely, I'm taking anybody at this point. Even Poyer went in. They took Bishop out to put Poyer in. He came back in, but it's I don't know. I really struggle to understand. I made some shoestring tackles in my day too, but that was last case scenario. Like I got to make a tackle. I'm in a bad position. I'm going to do my best to get this guy down. And I tackled someone like that before, but my whole goal when I tackled, as soon as I get my hands on you, you're going into the dirt, and I'm driving you as far as I can into the ground. And I wasn't nearly as physical and athletic and huge as these NFL players are. And it's like they're scared. You have nothing to be scared about. They put their pants on the same way you do every morning, and they're not scared of you. So it's a fundamental thing. It's coaching. It's mentality. Because I tell you guys a story every time we talk about tackling. We had a guy. He was the smallest kid I've ever seen, biggest heart, toughest kid I ever met, and he would hit the living shit out of anybody. It didn't matter how big they were, and he was not afraid of anybody. He maybe got laid out, but he would give his damnedest to knock your ass out, and he would. So I don't want to hear about, these guys are undersized. That doesn't matter really, because it's about hitting. It's about your mentality. It's about technique. It doesn't matter how big you are. Again, real life situation. I was on kickoff. I was running at this guy. He was huge. He was a big fat offensive lineman in the front line, probably like maybe twice my weight. I said, I got to try to beat this guy with speed. There's no way I can get through to him. I said, you know what? F it. I'm just going to sprint at him as hard as I can and pop him in his chest. I ran into him as hard as I could. I put my head down into his chest plate, He flew like 5 yards back and hit the ground. I stopped for a second. I was like, oh shit. So I went back in my lane and made a tackle. But it's about your heart and your mentality. So I know these guys are undersized. But stop being afraid. You got to have that killer instinct that I want to win this football game. I got to make this tackle.
Yeah, I mean, Shiloh's still in college, right? He's not even in the NFL.
No, he was an undrafted free agent. He went to Tampa Bay. He punched Zach Davison in the face in the preseason game and got off the team.
Gotcha.
Yep. But he hasn't been picked up by anybody else either.
He did have a tryout again with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but didn't get go to the practice squad or anything. Nothing happened with that.
Can I say something off topic quick, Mike, before you move on?
Yes, sir.
You remember when we talked about Greg Zabel in the draft last year?
That's my old man brain not remembering. No, sir.
He was a guard that we all liked. He had a 0% pressure rate allowed this year.
Wow.
He was a guy that we all wanted. I brought him up, and you guys all watched him, and the Seahawks got him. But that would have been a perfect. Not that David Edwards has been bad, but a perfect David Edwards replacement.
Yeah, for sure. Chad the Chief coming back in again. Another super chat. Thank you so much, Chad. And he says, I would like to renegotiate my contract. Absolutely. You deserve a new contract. I feel I'm underpaid. Plus, I need to come on one day and show off the polo shirt. He's got some Nickel City Mafia gear. Jake sent him something. So thank you for attention to this matter. Absolutely. Let's talk offline, Chad. We'll come up with something. And yes, we'd like to get you back on. You've been on our show once, at least once, maybe twice. And guess what? Talk to your good friend Weston out there, because Bills Chiefs right around the corner. Be great to have you on for maybe the pregame, maybe on the Ruthless show, or at least on the postgame. So
yeah, we got to
going.
I might actually have because that Friday's Halloween.
Yeah,
I'll be in Buffalo Saturday, so I might just have if you guys could, because I'm not going to get to Buffalo till the afternoon because the earliest train won't get me there till 3. So we have to go right to a wing spot and then eat and go right to another wing spot. So it either has to be super late, or if you and Brett want to do it and then have Chad on and Weston on for the pregame, and then Jake and I can jump in after the game and do a post game. But yeah, I gotta hit at least 2 wing spots Saturday. So I don't know what the time's gonna be like.
No worries. Okay, remind me, because I've been begging someone to go to a couple wing spots and get some video. I've got a show. I got a video ready to go. Top 8 wing places, and I need one video. I have 3 kids that live in Buffalo. I have Jake in Buffalo. I had Brett visit in Buffalo. You think I can get them to do a video for me? No, impossible. I don't know what the hell's the problem.
Give me one, because I already told Jake I got to go back to 9/11 and get those steak fries and get those wings again. So that's the first place we're going.
Doc Sullivan's, the Smitty wing. That's what I need.
Doc Sullivan's. Okay, we're gonna go to Doc Sullivan's at night after that one, and then
beautiful.
Well, maybe we could join in the pregame, but because I know Brett's gonna do something Friday night with his son, and I'm gonna do something with my son Friday night. So the Ruthless show will have to be Saturday, but we'll figure it out.
We'll see. I mean, listen, I have a young one now, so yeah, we're getting off topic on this real quick, but yeah, Halloween, it's a great holiday. I love getting the kids dressed up and everything, and getting to see all the costumes that all the kids around the neighborhood wear. But for me, I'll make myself available. My son will be, in bed probably by 8:30, 9 o'clock at the latest, unless if my wife decides to have the baby stay out a little bit longer. But I'll probably make it happen for Friday night. Hopefully, Sean and Jake can join us, or even Mike can join us, and we'll make it happen. So don't rule out Friday night. I'm going to try and make it happen. It just might be a little bit later.
We'll figure something out, definitely.
What's next, Mike? I know you got some more.
We just started. You know what we've been talking about the whole time? What we saw after that game, it's so fresh in your mind, Sean. You keep saying it happened yesterday. It was 48 hours ago, my friend, 2 days ago. It feels like yesterday for you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we talked about it. I mean, the only other things I really had is who are those targets we should go after? Is it only wide receiver we should look to make a trade with? I mean, people had mentioned safety issues, depth we need there, cornerback depth. If Hairston isn't going to be coming back, but even if he is, it's going to take him a while. Are there any other places that Bean should be looking at that trade deadline? What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would say it's definitely not going to be D-line because we got 2 people coming back.
Yeah.
But honestly, I would love to get Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans and have that other elite defensive tackle. Only issue is I know he's way better than Walker right now, but Walker's ascending every game and being absolutely outstanding. So I would hate to like stunt his growth, but I still think he could do damage as a rotation guy with Simmons. So if you got Oliver Simmons, then you got Walker, Ogunjobi, I would love that. I don't know if I doubt we're gonna get Simmons, but I could also see us needing like a linebacker, like maybe a really good quality linebacker because of the injuries. Yeah. And I would still like to maybe even get Grant Delpit at safety. But they're not going to push Taylor Rapp out, and they're definitely not going to push Bishop out because that'd be another wasted second round pick. Corner, it's tough. Is Harrison coming back? They know that we don't. If he's not coming back, they better be on the phone trying to get another really good corner. If he is coming back, maybe still get another one just in case he's not ready to go yet. Because I'm already like basically giving him a wash this year because he's coming off of an injury that could be serious. I can't expect everything from him. I really want him to play. But if he doesn't do well, I'm not going to kill him for it. But, I mean, we've seen Bean's history besides Josh Allen. How many, we'll say even potential stars has he drafted besides Allen? Oliver, maybe Deion Walker. 6 games into his career. He's got 7 tackles for loss. People said he couldn't stop the run. He's absolutely dominating the run game. He can still rush the passer. He's young. He's big. He's only going to get bigger and stronger and better. I think he's got potential to be a star. But other than that, I don't really see many. So I can't trust that Harrison's going to be the guy because he has no track record of drafting the guy. But if you can get better at every position, you got to. I don't know who I'd pick. Because honestly, I don't think one player on defense is going to change this defense. But I think maybe one wide receiver could change the offense. So maybe I go wide receiver. And as bad as the defense has been, they did everything they could for us to win these last 2 weeks. Yeah. If you only give up 20 points and 23 points or whatever it was,
right?
Buffalo Bills should never lose those games. So unless it's week 18 and Mr. Trubisky's playing against the Jets or the Patriots and you lose, that's the only time a Bill should ever lose a game giving up 20 points. So I hope. Yeah. I think we'll get some juice maybe the first game or two with Hoyt back because nobody's going to know how we're going to use them. So the Panthers are probably going to be like, "Oh crap! I mean, we know Hoyt from the Rams, but how are the Bills going to use him? I don't know." And then we'll put the tape on there, and the Chiefs will have all that time to be like, "Okay, they got Hoyt. This is what they might do. We might be ready for it. We might miss a play or two." But so I think we'll get some initial juice from them. But I don't think they're going to change the defense and make him a top 5 unit or anything.
Yeah, my dad called me yesterday. I thought something was wrong. He called me and it's like, Mike, on your post-game show, Jake was talking about going after a wide receiver for the deadline. And he's like, well, you didn't really share your thoughts. What do you think? And I hemmed and hawed, and then he chimed in. He's like, because I don't think getting a receiver will change things much. I mean, if it was a great receiver, sure. But what are the odds of us getting a great receiver, right? Game changer. Yeah. Probably slim to none. But I think for me, the more I've thought about it, I think you have to try. I'm always for getting another weapon, especially what we've seen so far. So I'm for that for sure. Go after a wide receiver, give us some draft capital. As much as you got to give to get a top receiver, and if you get kind of look, Amari Cooper was towards the tail end of his career. Heck, he's still retired, right? No one signed him. Wouldn't you be surprised? Would you be surprised if you heard Amari Cooper was signed by the Buffalo Bills? You know we wouldn't be surprised if we heard that tomorrow. We'd be like, yeah, that's the Buffalo Bills. They like to bring in these guys back that are sitting on the couch these days. But Amari Cooper wasn't again, he was a great receiver during his prime, but he was sort of on the tail end. And I can't say that it was him that jump started it. I mean, obviously he had a really first, I think it was the first game or second game. He scored a touchdown, but he was pretty quiet the rest of the season. It was more of the firing of Dorsey and the hiring of Brady. We don't kind of have that. I mean, it's a little different this year. Can a receiver jumpstart everything? Yeah, it'll definitely make us all excited. And it could change some things, but they got to get other things right first, right? You talked about it a lot, Sean. Got to get other things right on that offense, and then get cooking with Cook, right? So anyhow, Trek Reviewer finally joining us. Trek, where you been, man? Oh, I wanted to ask John Robert. John Robert, are you in Buffalo? You live around Buffalo? You been to Buffalo? Yes, blue cheese with those wings.
Yeah, maybe we could run into you, me and Jake.
Yeah,
or Jake and I.
I'll be curious where you are, John. Big Bills fan. Were you born there? Where you at these days? And I know people are gonna be mad at me for this, and I've told this story many, many times. As a kid, Mom would buy us a bucket of wings. I'm going way back, and a bucket of wings, dude. A bucket of wings. It was it's like the KFC buckets.
Yep.
And there was 50 wings in that bucket.
Yeah.
We get a bucket of wings and a pizza. My mom made less than $3 an hour. She was a single parent, and she on Fridays, I think it was like $25 would get us or less a bucket of wings and a pizza. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they used to have 10-cent wing nights. I mean, you could get wings for $5.
And I say that I liked blue cheese, but I think it was more that as we didn't have a lot of money, so we ate what was on the table, whatever's on that table. So I got used to that blue cheese. And then in my later years, when I moved back out, or when I had to move to the West Coast, I got away from the blue cheese. And I don't know if the chemotherapy and all that stuff changed my taste buds, but when I went back to blue cheese, can't stand it anymore. Sorry, and I can't stand it anymore.
You've had Buffalo blue cheese again since the chemo, or
yes, I did. I went, when I went to the Dolphins game and met Jake for the first time. That's when the first time I had the true blue cheese. I was hoping that would do it for me. Bring it back. I'll blame it on chemo, though. That's what I'm going to tell you right now.
That's true.
So Mike, you mentioned your thoughts on the Bills roster and whether the wide receivers and everything, getting a wide receiver or getting another position is best for the Buffalo Bills. I never gave you my thought on it yet. So I want to take a moment to just give you my thoughts on this. Okay. Sean, you mentioned going after A.J. Brown. You mentioned going after Jeffrey Simmons. You mentioned all the big names that are out there. There's still some free agents that are out there that I think that the Bills could really target, starting with Treylon Burks from the Tennessee Titans. He has a 4.5 speed, second-round pick for them. I still think that would be a good signing by the Buffalo Bills or somebody to bring in. Don't forget, as a team, I think that these moves that you guys are saying and everything, I don't think that it's necessarily a player that can come in that'll make the difference. Anybody that we get, that we can get under the salary cap right now, besides A.J. Brown, and you have to give up a lot to get A.J. Brown, would make the difference in this Buffalo Bills team. I think a lot of it, like we mentioned, is schematic. I think it's coaching. I think it's, just things that the players need to do to be better. We could be a much better team right now than we really are. We've let down. 100% we've let down as a team. I think we're going to get back to normal fundamental football from the Buffalo Bills. We'll play a lot better, and we don't need to make a big move right now. The players that we need to get back, we need to get healthy, number one, and we need to get guys like Ogunjobi, Hoyt, Hairston back, and they'll make the difference from this team. But we're not going to do it with the guys that are necessarily out there unless we make a move for a guy like Treylon Burks or I mentioned Tyler Boyd too. An older receiver, but has so much chemistry with his quarterback that he can make a difference in the lineup for the Buffalo Bills. I just don't see it being a move that's really, out there that can make a difference. Justin Simmons at the safety position, great move, but it's going to take so long for them to learn the scheme. It's going to take them so long to even get into the lineup and play significant snaps. I don't see it happening right now.
Good stuff there, Brett. I have to ask you guys a question. You've rewatched the film, Sean. My boy Landon Jackson, active again last game. I didn't even see what he got on PFF. Did you happen to look? I'm going to look right now if you haven't.
Yeah, I got it.
See how
I
many
got it all
snaps he
right here
played.
in my notes. He had a 59.3 defensive grade, a 55.4 pass rush, 61.1 run defense, and zeros for statistical stuff. Now, I know you're gonna put out the defense from last week. I did cite 2 plays where he didn't actually get a tackle or anything, but he pushed the running back inside like he's supposed to, and then other people made the tackle. So he's done something that hasn't showed up on the stat sheet, but when he's out there, I haven't noticed, wow, that's horrible. There hasn't been one play that I've watched since he's been out there where it's like, oof, he should never play again. Obviously, he hasn't done anything spectacular, but he's made a couple plays that doing his job led to other people making plays, and good for the kid. Yeah, I mean, Greg Rousseau's been really good, especially run defense the last few weeks. He's really stepped up from when I was harsh on him, where he had no tackles for 2 weeks straight, no stops, just getting blown off the ball. He's been playing much better. Ed Oliver came back, gets a sack. His impact is felt immediately. He had 5 pressures last week. So the D-line did really good. Epinesa, 4 pressures again. He's, again, making huge impacts on this team, making big tackles. He blasted Bijan Robinson. He tackling guys downfield. There's some good guys in this D-line. I like to see us play more man coverage because it seemed like it worked better last week. Now, it's not going to work for every quarterback. Mahomes will run on you. Baker will maybe run on you. Hurts will definitely run on you if you run man. But we got to do a better job disguising. Oh, and Trek, yes. We talked about it earlier before you came. Walker had, when I was almost done with the film now, but there was the 9th drive. He had 2 tackles for loss in a row. 10th drive, another tackle for loss and a tip pass. He was all over the place. I think he had 5 tackles. I think 3 or 4 of them were tackles for loss. He's good. He's real good. Stops the run. He sheds blocks so easily. Absorbs double teams. He's going to be a really good player for us. Looking forward to that. But it's unfortunately the defensive line, as good as they've been, it isn't enough to help this team, get these turnovers. Apparently, that was one thing we really did well last year, was turn the ball over. And Trey mentioned it in the Discord. It was a historic, unprecedented what we did last year with amount of turnovers forced and the least amount of turnovers given. We've turned the ball over on offenses a little bit this year, but not nearly enough. We're not getting extra possessions, but the pressure is getting there. We're getting some good production from the D-line, but the other guys aren't stepping up. We need the other guys to step up. We need interceptions. We need deflections. We need tip passes that lead to us intercepting the ball, and we just haven't been getting that. And it's not all doom and gloom. It's a lot of bad, a lot of good. I don't know why this happens every year, where October hits and we look like we are the worst team in the league. Now, one thing Brady said that I did like, that I didn't really agree with much of what he said, but he said, to you guys and the fans, it should, and it's going to feel like everything that we're the worst. He didn't say it's the worst team ever, but I can't remember the exact words he said, but it's going to seem like the sky's falling, and it should. But for us, we're not going to blink. We're going to fix the issues. And I like that to a point, because it does feel like that we're the worst team ever. Losing 2 games like you did, it does feel that way. But if they take it seriously, don't go on vacations right now. You didn't earn it. You didn't earn to enjoy your bye week. You earned to not enjoy it. So I know Josh went to Mexico with his beautiful, amazing wife and is going to have a great time. And she makes him feel like more than a football player. But take that early trip back. Everyone else should be in the field house studying, getting better, watching everything you did wrong, watching everything you did right. The coaches need to be not sleeping. They need to be having cold dinners and getting shit ready for the future, because they have a real good chance of doing something special. And this last 2 weeks is not a team that is going to do anything really that far. They can change this. Now, things that can't be changed, tackling, that's not going to change this year. It's going to be the same as every other year it's been. But you can still gang tackle. You can still punch at the ball. But it's it's really simple that you can just wrap up and become better tackling. But if these guys can't tackle in this phase of their life, they're never going to be able to tackle.
Yeah.
But if you can just wrap up and hold the guy, if you want to bring him down, you want to punch at the ball, at least hold the guy so someone else can come lay him out. But yeah, don't just be letting guys run past you. There was one play Bijan ran, and you see like 6 people dive at his foot, try to hit him like this, and he's just bouncing off these people. That's not how you tackle. But yeah, I think we can fix this. I hope we get a player or two to bring in that's a really good player. But these guys got to dig deep. They're good enough, and looking at like sports in general, the best team on paper with the most talent doesn't always win.
Right.
There's teams like the Giants. They didn't have they had Justin Tuck and OCU Manura. They had some great players, some really great players on the offensive line. But they were 9-8. They beat the 17-0 Brady led with Randy Moss with 60-something touchdowns, maybe. But yeah, I think we can fix it. We have a chance to win. We don't have the best coaching. I believe in Josh. I believe in James Cook. I believe in the O-line. I believe in Oliver. I believe in Walker. I believe in Bosa. We can do something.
Yep, you gotta believe. And you make a good point, which is really hard to understand, like tackling. These guys have been playing football their entire life. Pee-wee football, high school football, college football. Even Bishop, who missed that tackle, I don't give him a pass just because he's a second-year guy. These guys have been tackling all of their life, and they were good enough to be drafted by an NFL team. Like, how can there be so many people that can't tackle? I just don't get it. So there's some fundamental issue there. I do want to address something here real quick. I'm not going to share all this information because Sean will share some of it. But we got people coming in here saying cut Cam. Cut Cam was the top-rated defensive player on PFF this week with an 80.2. Are you freaking kidding me? But here's a reason why I'm considering giving up my subscription to PFF. Deion Walker, the most electric guy in the game, hands down. And for the first time, he got better as the game went on. Typically, he's been coming out of the gate on fire. As the game went on, it felt like he was, tiring out. Dude turned it on in the second half, was just in the backfield consistently, 4 tackles for losses. They give him a grade of 45.1, a defensive grade. There's something screwed up, PFF. Get it fixed. Else you're going to lose a subscriber big time. So,
well, Mike, how about this?
Yeah.
42 run defense grade with 5 tackles, 3 or 4 for a loss, and 4 run stops. How do you get a 42? How's that a 42?
No sense. Again,
yeah.
I'm going to email their support and say, what the hell are you doing? You're about to lose a subscriber. So what are you guys doing? Yeah. I'd love to hear what they responded. I might do that. I've done it before.
And, I always say I don't hate it, PFF. I don't think they're always right. I'm not ever always right.
Right.
But what I like about it is they say, oh, this guy, like Spencer Brown gave up 6 pressures. Now, I only maybe counted 2 or 3, but it's a baseline of what did they see? What am I seeing? Can we meet in the middle? So I have my own thought, but they have their own thought. Pro Football Reference has their own thought. So it's like there's a lot of data points. Now, again, they're humans. They have their own systems. They're not always right. But no way should a guy that gets multiple tackles for loss, multiple run stops, multiple tackles as a D tackle get a horrible run defense grade like that. Now, again, it doesn't make sense. But even like with the offensive line, I'm watching the tape. I'm being as absolutely objective as I can. And then I'm reading like, oh, Brown did this, Osiris did this. I thought Torrance specifically did a really, really great job pass blocking. And when you go to the PFF like rankings headed into week 8, we went down to 4. So we dropped from 2 to 4. But they in their description, they said Torrance was the worst one of them all, surrendered 4 pressures with a 45 pass blocking grade. And I was just like, I think I maybe only saw 1 or 2 bad reps from him. And, maybe I think right now, I think I've got 4 or 5 total. PFF counted 13. Like, I don't understand fully.
Yeah.
But, it's just a guideline. And, yeah, it's not perfect. But I'm not. Nobody is. But just, again, for reference, I took a note because, Allen's been sacked a lot more. Again, not mainly because of him, but I was like, I want to compare the guys from what they did the first 6 weeks last year and what they did this year, just for pressure total. So Dawkins had 8 from weeks 1 through 6 last year. He's at 10. So not really much difference there. David Edwards had 9 last year. He's at 11 right now. Again, not it's very, very minimal. McGovern had 11 last year. He's got 6 now. So he went down 5. So Dawkins went up 2. Edwards went up 2. McGovern went down 5. So that's really a wash. Torrance was at 11. He's at 15 right now. Again, kind of gets like a bad end of a stick from PFF. I haven't counted 15 from him. Now here's the real one that's the big difference maker. Brown had 10 last year, 17 the entire year. He's at 19 already. Now 16, but 3 of them were Vandermark. So I just counted it as Brown, is because he's a right tackle. So Brown has 16 on his own, 17 total last year in 15 games. RVD had 3. So that right tackle spot is giving up 19. So the difference between week 1 and week 1 and through 6, 2024 and 2025 is 49 to 61. The blunt of that is Spencer Brown. Now they've been a little bit harsh on him too. They counted 6 last week, 4 this week. And it's just like, I'm not seeing all of them. He's not the same player as last year. I think his back was bothering him. He's still really good. But yeah, there's a little bit more pressures this year. And I just think a little bit of that is, Brown got a little bit injured and struggled a little bit. But everybody else is basically around what they were last year. Now the sack stuff, you watch Allen run up the middle on a play that he didn't want to throw the ball to. They think he's passing the ball. He runs into the guy's back, gets no yards. That's a sack. You got to get over the line of scrimmage for it to be not a sack. So if he's running forward and he was protected for a while, and then a guy hits him and he falls, that's a sack. So yeah, he's been sacked a lot more than last year, but most of them are him running to the line of scrimmage, getting sacked, or not seeing the field properly. Supposed to get the ball out quick on a quick release play, hesitates, gets sacked. So yeah, numbers a little bit different this year. The play, to me, eye test, hasn't changed much. They're still one of the best units in this league. It's just, I guess Brown struggled a little bit. The stats, that's what the stats show. Eye test shows it a little bit. But, I mean, I think PFF's just been a little bit too harsh on him. But, yeah, so that's what I've noticed from weeks 1 through 6. But play-wise, it's not like they regress from top 3 to bottom 3. You know what I mean? It just looks that way now, partially because of the videos I show in the group chat or that I do on the whiteboard for the videos. Allen's just not seeing the field properly. He's not calling out protections properly. It makes them look bad. And then, he gets in his own head because he's like, oh, well, now I'm taking these sacks, and now I run around and do this, and like my head's cut off, and he gets in a big funk.
Yeah, there's rumors that PFF, if players send them money, they score them higher, so they get a little paid off there. But it's funny about the grades. They were saying J.J. Watt was on Pat McAfee talking about that and saying get rid of the grades. Kind of like the grades. If that lights a little fire under you, cool. If you really care about that, you've got other issues. But then again, they all care about their Madden grades. Like they're always talking about the Madden grade. Come on now.
Yeah.
If you care about the Madden grade, you should care about the PFF grade, because the PFF grade is probably a better eye test than, I don't know, and Madden. They probably just look at your stats and you're a 99. You're a 99. Okay.
Well, what I like the most about PFF, actually, it's not the grades, but like for the defense, it tells you sacks, hits, hurries, pressures, tackles, stops.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that part because there's no way you can watch a game and try to enjoy it and find every single stat for every single player that plays the game.
Right.
But the grades, it's just frustrating because you don't know how they do it and why. And like, does a penalty decrease your grade? Does being to the left 3 feet make a difference in your grade? But I like how it gives you, all the other defensive stats, and then, sacks allowed, pressures allowed, things like time to throw, snap to pass. That stuff's cool because you're never going to figure that out unless you have something like that. But the grades, I haven't figured it out yet. I don't get it. But yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we're coming up on at midnight on the East Coast. I can see, Brett's got that silver football in his hand, and he's trying to stay awake here. We're gonna end it at this point. We can keep talking West Coast. I got time here, but it's been a lot of fun for our inaugural show, and I want everyone to take a deep breath. Hopefully, we got it all off our chest. Therapy session. We are just 4-2. Look, like Chad said earlier, his Chiefs are 3-3. They look like they're going up. We were coming out of the gate, 4-0, took a dip. We've seen it before. These teams are good. We believe in the Bills. The Bills have the talent. They have the MVP from last year. They'll get it right. I have no doubt. But it is tough when you lose back-to-back games, and it's just good to get off your chest. And that's why we're here on Wednesday, the midweek, Mafia Midway, your midweek therapy session. So glad you can join us for the first one. We're going to have more. And like I said, every Wednesday we'll be doing this, and it'll be a combination. It might not be the 3 of us. I was hoping to have the 4 of us for the first show. Like I said, Jake was in Buffalo supporting the Sabres, who got the first win tonight. Go Sabres. So you'll see Jake. You'll see a combination. It'll always be at least 2 to 4, and those names will change depending on who's available. But it was a super fun show. We couldn't wait 2 weeks. Couldn't wait 2 weeks to do a pregame show. It would have been like forever to talk about our Bills. We'll be talking about our Bills every Wednesday. And, of course, we got the pregame and we got the postgame shows. So lots going on. And I think I've mentioned it many times, but we are going to have a call-in ability here for this show. There'll be a site that you can click on your phone and join us and, get some stuff off your chest during these therapy sessions. Chad, thanks again for the super chats. Really appreciate your support. Always. Weston, great to see you. Mr. John Roberts, wonderful. Thank you for coming over from Facebook. I'll tell you what, the Facebook site has really grown. It really has. We've got a lot of followers out there, which is crazy. I just need some of them to come on over. And John, if you haven't, I know you probably have YouTube on your phone or something. Just smash that the sub button over here, and then go back to Facebook. Help get us count. We are 60 subs away from magical 2,000. We have been there for quite some time. So help us get there. 60 more subs, and then you get us 60 more subs, the Bills win the Super Bowl. That's how it works. Bills win the Super Bowl with 60 more subs. A Nickel City Mafia guaranteed. Anyhow, all of you, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Always fun. Go Bills.
Go Bills.